Nick here, eat my shrubs. I have to, I'm harvesting worms and separating compost and the worms and everything. So I realized I hadn't done a full video on the worm trap. This guy behind me here. Basically, if you have one of those towers, worm composting, I don't know what they're called, but you know, the towers, it's the same principle. But it's an easy way to get the worms out of the compost without getting too into it. Couple things to keep in mind. This is the bin that they're going in. So I have it handy because I'm gonna take this out and put it, set it in the bins, and there's worms on the bottom and stuff. You'll see it here. And so have that ready so you're not like holding the bin, holding the worms, and wondering where to put things. And then and have food. I have food ready to go, put back in there. So we'll try to keep this kind of short, and I'll move you around so you can see. Okay, first things first, gonna take the lid off this thing. Good idea to have some gloves too. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna move. Okay, quick video to show you what things can sometimes go sideways. See the mold on there? I'm just kind of delayed doing this, so things started to get a little funky. I could smell this happening before I could see it, so I knew it was happening, but I was like, I just had to put it off. So if something smells funky in any part of this, then it's time to have a look at something and adjust things. So this is what happens if you don't. Now I gotta deal with this. No big deal. It's just it's powdery, so whatever. And this isn't an exact science, so you can see there's worms there. You're not going to get them all. You're going to get the majority of them, and you might have to pick out maybe a dozen or so when you actually dump this out. So I'm going to load this one more time, this trap, and then after that I'll dump it all out and then just hand pick out the rest of the worms, but there won't be many. So if we slowly move this, too many worms in there? Not too many. So see, now last time we had a bunch of worms. So okay, you set your back up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this stuff out. Move this over here for now. Just going to put it here and feed the worms that are in there. Let's see. There's still worms in there. You can see them in there. On the rim, you can see them. Anyway. You gotta be really gentle with them because it's a wire mesh and you can easily do more harm than good trying to help them out here. I'm not gonna be too fussy because I am gonna reset this with the last, so next time I gotta make sure I get all the worms out. Okay, you can see the bottom. It's just chicken wire. See, I attached and duct taped around, and the lid to the other bin sits, you know, it's like a bucket in a bucket. Put that back. kind of hard to get the lighting right there, but oh, you can see a little bit. You can see how, so the inner bucket, it sits on the soil. And what it does is it utilizes the worm's natural tendency to want to come up looking for food. So lo and behold, there's food there, and then we can just move the whole thing before they get out of the before they go back into the compost. I'm going to try to do this one-handed, see if we can see the worms. So this is all from this pile, or all from this trap, the last time and this time. So there you can see all the worms that come out. Beautiful. It's awesome. I have a family coming in for some worms in a couple of days, so that's good. I can harvest it right from this batch, no problem. Just cover it back up again. I'll feed it. Okay, so resetting the trap, easy enough. Take some paper, shredded paper, just a little bit on the bottom. This is like the trap part. The worms come up through looking for food, and then they go back down through, and they're like, oh, well, it's like a maze to get down through. The food's above me, so shag it. I'm just going to go up again, and then and then when you harvest it, it gives a little plate for the food stuff to sit on, so you don't leave it in the finished compost. You want to keep it separate, right? So it's okay. Paper in. This is just coffee grinds and carrot shavings and eating it. You don't want too many fine things in this stage because it will filter through, and then you'll have unfinished compost in your compost, and that's not the point. So so the paper layer is important, and it does get wet, so it'll make a nice little plate for things to stuff. Okay, and then on top, this is wet stuff. We'll put over here. You want some relatively dry paper on top. It's not dry. I got some fresh stuff here too. I'm doing laundry here. If you hear the washing machine go crazy. Okay, so here's some dry stuff. Fluff it up a bit. This helps to confuse any type of fruit fly or gnat that's going by trying to get into the food. They might be able to smell it, but they can't. They get lost in the paper. So it works. So the other thing I'm going to do, I forgot. So you should spray the top with some neem oil, just to also deter any fruit flies that might be in there. It's not a lot. You don't want to wet it down, but I'm going to put the lid back on. Put the lid back on. There you go. Okay, and there you go. That's setting the worm trap, and you can see I use one hand with a glove. I mean, it's just kind of sticky. The compost itself is sticky stuff. So anyway, I'm just going to refeed the worm bins now, but there's videos already online about that stuff, so you can check them out. And then follow along. I'll got some more stuff drying. This stuff is drying, so whenever things come up, I'll post another video. Eatmyshrubs.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, follow along.